Hello. So they say consistency is key, and I'm consistently inconsistent with my Spinach TV content. I'm kicking it up again today with Lane from Kiwi Website Design, because Lane has been a partner of mine for a number of years, managing the Spinach SEO. And I work with business owners all the time, and I'm having conversations all the time, and I know to many of us, SEO is a mythical dark art that we don't understand. So I wanted Lane, who I trust with that topic, to come and talk to us a little bit more about it, and hopefully give you something to work with from today onwards. So Lane, thank you for making time to talk to me about SEO today.
Thanks, Gemma, for taking the time to talk to me in regards to. I'd love to get out some more information about SEO and cover some of the questions that people just don't know about it, and go more into what SEO actually is and how it can really help businesses.
Yeah, that's excellent. So, SEO, what is it?
Search engine optimization. So pretty much you going onto Google, typing a keyword, let's say loans, for example, typing that and then appearing on page one for that particular keyword. So that's pretty much the gist of it. How you get onto page one is the magic we have to go into. But that's pretty much the gist of SEO, is getting you to page one for your keywords that you want to be appearing for to your target audiences.
So why do you want to be on page one?
Why do I be on page one? It's pretty much like if you're not on page one, you're not going to get any leads. Most people do have some SEO on their websites, or they launch their website and then maybe they're sitting on page 8 or 9. But I'm sure any of your viewers will probably know that. Does anyone actually go past page one when they're searching something? No, maybe page 2, rarely, but really anyone that they want for a service, they're just going to pick someone off page 1, usually near the top of page 1 as well.
Yeah, well, I remember actually when we built the Spinach website, man, I was so proud of it. I have miniature humans in the background. I don't know if you can hear the shouting. Sorry for that. We built this website, and I just thought it was so good. And we turned it live. Pushed the big green button, and nothing happened. And we were really miffed about it. Why is the work not coming in? And that's when we kind of had to take a look at ourselves.
Yeah, and with a lot of people, they do build websites. Some people come to us with websites that have existed for a while but don't get any leads, and partly because they haven't been doing SEO for a while. Some people come to us with a brand new website, brand new URL, so you're starting fresh with Google. Those ones will take a little bit more time to get going. So when you launch the website, and usually you're searching a keyword that hopefully you're appearing for, you're not going to be appearing on page one for a few months usually. In regards to that, even your business name as well can take a little bit of time to appear on Google as well. So it's really good to do SEO. Making your website's good, and that's one part, but making your website is pretty much just showing, like, this is all our services, but unless you're actually going to market it properly and have you ranking on Google for those particular things and having keywords on the page in certain places, then your website's just not going to get picked up against your competitors. And you have to remember as well that, there's only 10 spots usually on page one for websites to appear. So if you're searching up a keyword and you're trying to compete with all the other competitors out there, you've got to get above everybody else to be in those top 10 positions. It can be quite hard to do. But with SEO, that's the key way to do it.
Well, you said when you're doing SEO, how do you do SEO? What do you do?
How do we do SEO? That's a really good question. So with our process, our main thing is first finding keywords that you want to be appearing for. So pretty much go out there, do some keyword research. And there's a few good tools out there. There's Neil Patel's neilpatel.com, which has a great tool for free users. If you want to put more money into it, you can use SEMrush, which is great as well. It's a little bit more expensive though, but great tools for doing keyword research. Once you find the keywords you want to rank for, then you sort of need to go, okay, well, what pages are they going to go to? What are the meta titles and description? And these meta titles and description are the things that appear on Google. They don't appear on the page itself, but they appear on Google. So if you have keywords in these meta titles and in these meta descriptions, Google's going to allow that, hey, this page here should possibly appear for this particular keyword. Also having the URL, also having the keyword in it. So let's say we were doing a loans type thing, we'd want to have, the URL of the website. Let's use Spinach example, spinach.co.nz/loans. Then you'd want to have meta title be something like loans and something else that you want to put in there. Whatever else, could be loans NZ, it could be small business loans and business loans that we cover. Then you also want to have in your meta description having those keywords in there as well. So that's the first main stuff to sort of get the ball rolling. The other stuff you have to do on the page itself is having an H1 heading that does involve that keyword in there, and having it as an H2 heading as well, somewhere different wording, but also mentioning that keyword in there as well. The next part is content. Content is key with Google. And a lot of websites go live and they want minimal content. They want it to be clean, tidy. That's nice for a design perspective. It doesn't work well for SEO if you want to get above your competitors who have been ranking for a long time. So having a good amount of content on the page that's good for people to read and understand, gives them information, is the way to sort of get you above your competitors who have been there longer, because that's really the trick with SEO. You've got someone who's been ranking for 5 years, who's holding well with that keyword on page one, and you want to get above them, and Google just loves content. So content is key to get you above them. So really good content is sort of what you want to look at on the page itself to make sure you get above it. And Google's becoming a lot more fussy with content, even AI content now. They're sort of looking at people using AI content and not ranking that stuff as well. So it's really good to have a human touch of content on there that provides some information to the people that want to know about what services that you're doing.
And one thing that that I understand about SEO is it's really, it sort of helps you diversify your lead sources, really, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, you're going to get a whole bunch of different leads. Some of them, you probably will be, depending on the keyword, you're going to get some that, qualify as a good lead for you, some that probably don't qualify, some that are just tire kickers that were looking around as well. But at least opens you up to the market. And some people might appear on page one for the first time and they might not get clicked straight away because you haven't built that brand trust, which comes into the next thing of that. Once people see you on page one a couple of times, or maybe they've searched you once under loans and they didn't click on you the first time, but maybe a month or two later, they go back in and see you still there. They're like, oh, you've seen that company around a few times now on page one, So they build up that brand trust, seeing you there more and more often on page one. As well.
Yeah. And I think so the SEO, from my experience with Spinach, in conjunction with the work that Lane does, is and you've just touched on it now, is trust. So it takes a while before people recognize your brand, understand what it's about, understand how it aligns with their own needs and values, and then over time also, your competitors are trying to rank for the SEO and trying to get up on page number one. And so it takes a while before Google trusts you and the community trusts you. And it's something that really can't be rushed. If you want to rush, you can chuck some money into ads and pay for those prime spots. But at the same time, chipping away at SEO, because it's not an instant thing, really, is it?
No, SEO is a long-term strategy. That's the best way to sort of put it, is that SEO is your plan, the long goal. A lot of people that come to us, it's SEO, and usually the most common thing that I hear with SEO is that, we haven't had any leads from the SEO within the first maybe 3 months, right? And that's because, you're moving up from page maybe 10 plus, where you didn't even exist before. Now you may be on page 4, but until you're actually on page 1, that's when you'll start to see the leads pick up. And most people won't see that with a website that hasn't been ranking well for a while, or brand new website for at least 3 to 6 months. So you are paying a lot of outgoing for the first few months with SEO, but eventually it switches around and becomes the other way, where now you've got a lot of leads coming in and the SEO isn't that much of a cost anymore. But you've got to look at that long-term goal with SEO, not planning like, hey, I'm going to do it for 2 months and I'll be on page 1 in 2 months. You've got to plan for the long term with SEO. I think it's a big misconception with people coming on board with SEO, from what I've seen with other agencies as well, is that they're kind of wanting it. I want to be on, page 1 in a week or a month or 2 months, and you need to allow time. There's no cheat for SEO to get you there fast. If there was, everyone would do the cheat, and then we'd have all the different websites that weren't fit for purpose to be on page 1. Google is very scrutinous about the websites they allow on page 1, and there's a script criteria that you sort of got to follow to make sure your website gets there. And there's no small, cheap way to get there. The only small thing you can do is pump more money at it. The more money you pump at it for SEO, the more fast you can get there. And some industries as well, where you're competing against some bigger competitors as well, you need to kind of up budgets in those to really be able to compete with them, because they're also having an SEO team, maybe internally as well, some of them, that are also trying to compete against everyone else that's trying to get onto page 1 as well for those keywords, which would be you if you're trying to compete against them. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think anyone who's interested in how it all works, I think you should Google some business loan keywords, startup loans and unsecured business loans and small business loans and all those sorts of things, and see where you find Spinach, and see who else is ranking there. We are, we're up against the likes of Westpac and the government websites and things, and it has been a long, slow burn for us. But we've gotten to the point now where it is ticking along really well. We're pretty happy with it, and we've got, we're on page 1 for many, and even in the first, 1, 2, 3 spots for many of the words that we try to be ranking for. So, but there have been many times over the years, we've been doing it for about 3 years together now. There have been many times where we've felt almost exasperated and let's chop it from the budget, because it's an expense you feel you don't get that instant gratification from. But now that we're the other side of it, it's more than paying for itself, which is quite a rewarding feeling, seeing, the credibility of our site over time. It's gotten better through the extra things that KEWD have built, other pages and better content and blogs and tools and things like that, that actually we've got a really hefty site that gives a lot of information to our clients, gives a lot of credibility to Google, and we can really stand beside it and say, yeah, that's something I'm proud of.
SEO, yeah, and SEO is something that a lot of people, I think, underestimate. As you said, they want instant gratification from it, and with SEO, it just takes time to get there. As you've seen, you're in a very competitive industry, so that's why it did take a bit of time. There are niche industries that can be there within a few months, so it's not everyone has to be years, of trying to get there. Some people also come to us websites, they've been doing SEO with another agency before, and then we pretty much take over it, and really for them, we make our adjustments based on our blueprint that we know for SEO and get them onto page one pretty quick, because they've already got a lot of backlinks and stuff that they've already been doing with the other agencies. They just need to fine tune their strategy, and we can get them there pretty quickly. Something else I want to highlight is on Google AdWords. Google AdWords is a great way to get you leads now and quickly. The problem with Google AdWords is if you don't do SEO on the side to it, you're locked and stuck to only getting your money from Google Ads. So we've got a couple of clients as an example. One of them was spending nearly 10K a month on AdWords. He then wanted to drop his budget and then put most of that into SEO. The problem with dropping his budget from that meant that all of his sales now disappeared because he wasn't putting any money into AdWords anymore. He's stuck to AdWords, right? He's never put anything else into anything else for like SEO to let SEO build up. So when we came to do the SEO and get him some rankings, because he hadn't had anything before, it really hurt his business cutting back the AdWords. So you really want to have both of them going at the same time. AdWords is great to get you the leads now for a while, but eventually you want to pull back on the AdWords, because AdWords is a lot more expensive than SEO in the long. But it will definitely guarantee you the leads now. But eventually you want to have, the SEO replace the AdWords as your long-term goal.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear all that. That's not great. Anyway, sorry. Very distracting.
I can barely hear it, just so you know. Like I heard one little sound.
Good. Well, that's pretty much what I felt people needed to know. Was there anything that we didn't cover that you think?
People picking in an SEO agency. Now, I mean, I'm going to be a bit biased here on this because, we are an SEO agency, so I'm going to say, but what I've seen a lot of facts about other agencies and how SEO kind of works, right? If you're going to go to an agency and do SEO, that's fine. Look out, just shop around would be my thing. The main thing is, if they can't appear, if you search SEO New Zealand, SEO Auckland, SEO company Auckland, for example, and they can't even get onto page one themselves, how are they going to get you to page one if they can't do it for their own website? So a lot of the times, if you're going to go out with an agency, I would recommend that you look at their own rankings to see if they can do it for themselves. If they can't do it for themselves, they're not going to be able to do it for you.
Yes.
And that's a big key, because so many other agencies out there, they're like, yeah, we can do your SEO cheap. And that's the other thing as well. Don't go for cheap options with SEO. The cheaper the option you're going with means you're actually allowing a lot less budget to go to backlinking, which means you're going to make it and delay the actual progress of getting SEO. So you could be doing, let's say, a couple of $100 a month, but really the amount that's going to backlinking is very small, and you're just going to take a lot of time to get there. Whereas a company that maybe is offering at $1,000 a month, it seems expensive, but they're actually going to get you the results fast because you're giving them more budget to work with to actually get you there. And budget can be quite a key thing with how much backlinks they can afford to do each month on the website. Yeah,
actually, can we dig into backlinks a little bit more, because that in itself is confusing. Because I've heard, white backlinks and grey backlinks and backlinks and toxic backlinks and all those things, and that in itself is very confusing. So what's all that going to mean for your site?
Yeah, you want to get good backlinks that have a high DA and DR authority out there. So that's something that's like a domain authority with Google, that it's a website that's already got its own heavy domain authorities. Each website does have a domain authority. When you launch your URL for the first time, if you've just bought it, you start with 0. After a bit of time, you start to build up and up and up your domain authority. And if you want good backlinks, you'd want something that's around 50 plus as a high sort of DA site. You want to be doing those sorts of things. Anything less, they can be okay, but they usually don't have much weight to them to Google. And if you're really wanting to see some good, changes, you want to get the more expensive, high quality backlinks for your website. Toxic backlinks is something that happens over time. It's not something that's maybe an SEO agent's done to you or anything. It's just that over time, maybe other websites go and mention you and for some reason or whatever. And because of that, maybe their website wasn't a high DA, or they're considered a spammy website, even though they have mentioned you maybe in the top websites for loans, for example, but their website is considered a spammy website to Google. So for those, we have tools that we use even through SEMrush that monitor toxic backlinks and send us a report straight away, and we just what we call disavow them. So they still exist out there, but they're not counted towards your website anymore because we tell Google to disavow this link and not count it towards your website. So you can easily remove toxic backlinks and make sure they're not affecting your website. And that's quite a key thing to do because a lot of people don't do toxic backlink audits every now and again just to say, hey, are there random websites that are linking to us that shouldn't be, that are hurting our rankings? So keeping on top of that is another good factor as well. Just every now and again, just disavowing a couple of websites that are marked as toxic. It's just good to keep on top of that because they can affect your rankings as well.
Yeah.
I mean, grey backlinks are something I wouldn't really worry too much about grey backlinks. Really just comes down to DA and high authority backlinks. That's mainly what we look for. And we want to try find as much in your industry as possible. In New Zealand, it can be quite hard to find a New Zealand company that matches your industry to do a backlink from because we're such a small country. So a lot of the times for New Zealand type customers, we do have to go offshore a little bit to get some backlinks because there are a lot more websites globally that have high authorities that match the industry that we usually try and do backlinks for.
Yeah. So how do people get started if they want, do they need to have an audit? Do they just have a conversation? Do they do some homework? Do they go and find their own keywords? How do you get started?
Depends what you want to do. A lot of people in the very Kiwi culture is to DIY it. I can do it myself, and I've met many people who have DIYed it, and that's fine. You're welcome to DIY it, but I still would recommend having an agency or at least someone that you are doing some work with who can give you some guidance on it because there's updates that roll out at the time, little factors that, if you're DIY, you just won't be aware of. Someone that's doing it a lot, will actually see the patterns that happen with SEO, can see the changes that's happening and keep on top of them and let you know when those changes are going to be happening, things you need to change on your website to keep on top of it. If you are going to look for someone to help you do your SEO or you don't have any idea what to do yourself, then I would recommend first thing is probably look up SEO and then maybe your city name or SEO agency, your city name, SEO company, your city name, and try to find someone local to you that you can actually do your SEO. Obviously KWD can always do it for you, but definitely look around for any other agencies that are on page one. If they're on page one for their own SEO keywords, and they're looking for your services, then definitely go to those ones. Don't go to people who are not ranking well at all. Also, probably don't go for a lot of people that probably cold call you. If they do cold call you, that's fine. Just ask for their website and do a check on their website to see if they at least come up for their own keywords. You can also go to another agency and say, look, I've got this person offering me, and try and see if they can offer you a better deal to see what they've got there. It's another thing. A lot of agencies will also offer free audits as well. So for anyone that sort of goes to an SEO agency, if you ask them for a free audit, majority of them will do that for free as they want to audit your website, try and highlight any issues that they think will be affecting your SEO. Take this audit sometimes with a grain of salt because they might highlight issues that aren't really a major. There's some things that are a major, some things that aren't. It's really quite a tricky area to get into with SEO because there's so many people saying this, saying that. Every agency says something different. So it's really a sort of hard answer to give you the exact answer on that. It's really, I'd say you just got to learn from a bit of experience, but also seeing what that agency's done for themselves. It's the best thing. I mean, we're all coming down to SEO. Can they get their own SEO up? If they can, then they're probably a good agency who's going to be able to help me.
Yes. And then commit and stay consistent.
That's the next thing as well. Yeah, don't get cold toes after a couple of months. SEO is very a 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And I see that with so many campaigns at the moment that, you'll get a big jump in rankings, then go back a little bit and then go big up again. And a lot of people get worried when they get that big up, like, yes, we're heading in the right direction, get a little bit of down and start panicking, like the SEO is not going well. It's normal. You will get fluctuations. Google will roll out updates that will fluctuate your rankings every now and again. The main thing is having a good agency who can keep on top of it and get the rankings back up when those updates happen, or make changes that are needed to the website quickly to get those rankings back up, or tell you that actually you don't need to make any changes. Just hold tight, which is not always the best thing to tell someone, but unfortunately, sometimes you just got to hold tight and the rankings will just come back themselves.
And also partnering with somebody who will continuously receive your emails or phone calls and give you that comfort, thank you, Lane, that you need when your rankings do change, because they do. And that's happened to us numerous times. And because we've stayed consistent through Lane's guidance, it does come back. And, sometimes it takes a couple of days, sometimes it takes a couple of weeks, but, sticking at it. And, Lane giving us guidance as to how we need to move forward best and stuff, it does come back. And I think that's just the key piece of information I want people to take away from this is SEO is a really great way to diversify your lead source. And it's not going to be instant. You're going to have to stick at it. And then once you're there, you need to stick at it to stay there because your competitors are trying to take that spot that you've earned away from you as well. So you don't go, oh great, we're there, and switch off, because you're just going to gradually sit back.
Exactly. A lot of people think that once they're there, cool, I can pull back on the SEO. Do you think your competitors pulling back on their SEO because you got up there? They're probably putting more in now to get back on top of you. So that's something else you have to keep aware of as well, that, if you're bumping them off from top spots, they're going to notice that, maybe not straight away, but they will notice it. They will try and put more in to get themselves back up, which is where you want us to sort of be there to get you back up. And the best way, I think, to look at this would actually be from our perspective of even being an agency competing with other agencies for SEO. We put a bit in, we become the top spot. They put a bit more, then they become the top spot. We put more in, then we become the top spot. It's a never-ending battle of switching out, each other becoming the top spots. We do something, they do something, we do something, they do something. But at least who are the top spots are the ones that are staying in those top positions of Google. And I'd always look at usually the top three. The top three are the ones that maybe they don't have top one, but that's usually because they're fluctuating around, fighting each other for those top three spots. But usually people in the top three spots are doing the best for their campaigns.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to describe as well is, because many people who want those instant leads are putting money into Google ads, social media ads, places where there's a cost per click or a cost per acquisition. There is a key difference with SEO, which is your monthly spend and your lead volume or your visit volumes. Actually, the traffic doesn't change how much it costs you versus chucking your daily budgets in everywhere, so you're not paying per visit. And the greater, the better your ranking and your cost stays the same, then that cost per acquisition comes down over time as well, because the SEO cost is staying the same. Or you can dial it up to really double down and get those better returns. But it's the amount you're spending on your SEO is not related to the individuals clicking and coming through to you.
Correct. So you've got some people have done really well with SEO, and depending on their keyword, if it's a really searched term or product that they're doing, once they get on page one, you could drive up to 10,000 plus traffic a month. It all depends on it, quite niche, depending on your industry. But you can literally have heaps and heaps and heaps, thousands of traffic coming through your website from just picking the right keywords that have the big search volumes. That are buyer intent as well. Obviously, most people want buyer intent or service-based keywords. You just need to find those ones that have great search volumes, have them ranking well, and that traffic can just fly up. And again, you're not tied to the same as what Google Ads is, where you kind of have to pay that cost per click. So you're paying, let's say, for example, $1,000 a month. You're still paying $1,000 a month even once you're on page one. And what most people actually do is then try to find more of the lesser search volume keywords next to add on. Usually most people start with the big ones, and then they want to add on all the other what we call long tail keywords, so maybe small business loan, Auckland, is more of a long tail keyword rather than just business loan or small business loan. And then adding on more of those sorts of things, it just broaden your visibility, you know what I mean? And so that would be the only time to really increase your SEO costs, is just when you're increasing that visibility by adding more and more keywords to your campaign.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's really good. I'm such a big fan. I think it's one of the best investments that we've made for our business. Your brand is really everything, because it's the point of difference between your client choosing you or the competitor. And so building anything that you can do to build trust and credibility is a no-brainer in my view.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm going to leave some contact information for Lane and KWD if you want to extend the conversation with him and talk about your SEO journey or get a second opinion on what you're doing. And Lane, thanks again for taking the time to talk to me. It's such an important topic, and I can't stress enough to people that, if you're not already investing in SEO, you really should.
Yeah, feel free to message me. We have free consults as well. If you just want to have a chat about what we could do, what services we could offer you in terms of SEO or even other services as well, just reach out and let us know. We're always happy to chat for free about it, just to see what we can do for you anyway.
Amazing. Thank you.